had a night. I just woke up from a nap. As you can see, I look really tired. And I'm pregnant and I'm hungry. So we're gonna try Chick-fil-A for the first time today. I don't know if you guys can see me, but I can't really see you guys. And I don't have a phone holder. Mine broke. Alright, so I'm just gonna update you guys on my life. Not that anybody cares, but I have nothing else to talk about, so it's gonna be a life update. I want to put music on, but I don't want to get copyrighted. So about a year and a half ago, closer to 2 years, I got out of an abusive relationship. And whether it was mentally or physically, that doesn't matter. I was in an abusive relationship, and I am so glad that I'm able to speak on it now and not still be in that situation, because it sucks to be in something like that where you don't know how to get out of it. And if you are going through something like that, there is hope, and just believe in yourself that you will get out of that situation. But you are the only person that can get out of that situation. You can't rely on a friend or a family to get you out of it. It's all you. If you're waiting on somebody to rescue you, that is not going to happen. I mean, it may, but then you're just going to go back to that person because you didn't decide to leave that person. You see what I'm saying? Somebody else made that decision for you, you know what I mean? Like whether it was the cops or, I don't know, a family member. Somebody else made that decision for you, and therefore you weren't ready to leave the relationship, even if it was abusive. So, looking back at it now, I do feel really stupid. I feel like I didn't know myself, if that makes sense. And I feel like I didn't even know the other person. Still to this day, like, it creeps me out how much I didn't know the other person, and I was with that person for 7 years. So the longer you're in a relationship, the harder it is to leave, just because of all the history you guys have. So it made it that much harder. But pretty much he was abusive, and I didn't realize it until somebody else came along and is just an amazing person. So if that person wouldn't have came along, I don't know if I would still be with this guy. I'm gonna go with no, because I made the decision to leave this person for a reason. Long story short, pretty much, should I say it? Let me just take a bite out of my food. This looks so good. By the way, I got the spicy chicken, not the deluxe. Okay. It's good. It's just chicken to me. I only have a few minutes to talk about the situation I was in. We started dating when I was really young, and so I think that's the reason why I stayed for so long, because I didn't know anything else that was out there. If you guys have been in a long relationship for a while, you know what I'm talking about, where you just stay just to stay. kind of like comfort. You're best friends with this one person, and it's like a friendship that's like kind of unexplainable, honestly, because you guys are so close. You're with each other every single day. If you're not at work, you know, you go everywhere with each other, and that's not really healthy, to be honest. But that is what you do when you start to get really comfortable in a relationship and you've been together for so long. You kind of just want to be with each other. So I'm gonna say that that's the reason why I didn't want to leave, because I didn't know that there was anything better out there. But then when he started treating me really bad, I was kind of like, oh, F no, like, there has to be something better out there. And this was hitting the 7-year mark. I was like, I just don't believe that this is where I'm supposed to be in life. And he also comes from a family where, you know, his mom is pretty much feels stuck, and you can tell, and it's not a good situation. And they make you feel like you're not going through anything serious. It's normal stuff in a relationship. That's what you go through. That's what you're supposed to go through. So overall, mentally, I was not around good surroundings to get me out of that situation either, because I was always around his family. And I'm not really going to talk about his family. I love everybody. I have nothing against any of his family members. They were all nice to me, and you know, I'm just gonna leave it at that. But that's where it started. And it came to a point where there was just problem after problem after problem after problem building up, and it came to a point where I couldn't look the other way anymore. I couldn't turn the other cheek anymore. I just couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't forget about it. Even if he apologized, it was just there. It was stuck in my brain. I couldn't get over it. And this one night, I was sleeping, and this was my last straw. My very last straw. I was sleeping, and I wake up. This guy is sitting on a chair staring at me sleeping, and he had a knife. He had a knife in his hand, and he pretty much said, "I'm sorry for what I'm about to do." And me just waking up, you know, you wake up and like your vision's still kind of blurry. So you're kind of like looking around like, what the hell's going on? And that's how I woke up. I woke up like that. I actually woke up from a nap. It wasn't like an actual like me sleeping. It was me waking up from a nap. And my vision was still blurry. I see him sitting down. I didn't see the knife yet. But I'm telling you, as soon as I saw that knife, my brain was like, where or how quickly can I leave this room without him chasing me? Because I didn't know if he had the intentions to hurt me or the intentions to hurt himself. But I did not want to be there for either one, honestly. And like I said in the beginning, like I thought, you know, he had to have been thinking about hurting himself. But looking back now, I don't even know who he really was. So I really don't know if he would have hurt me like that. I really don't, which is sad. Because you think you know somebody, you've been with them for 7 years, and you really think you know them. And they do some shiz. They do some shiz. And you're just kind of like, I thought I knew you. Like, where is this coming from? Which, by the way, I'm not talking about the knife situation. Like, he did something else, and I was just like, wow, I really thought I knew you. But anyway, going back to the knife situation, I made sure that I didn't look around the room. I looked straight at him in the eyes for a good 2 seconds after I saw that knife. Didn't make it seem like I saw the knife. And immediately, I knew if I would have looked around, he would have known that I'm figuring out a plan to get out of the room. So I made eye contact with him, and I was just listening to what he was saying for a few seconds, trying to make it seem like I still was kind of like out of it. And I ran for the door immediately. He chased me, and we were literally like a few seconds, like, this is the door handle, and this is my hand, and this is his hand. Like, we were a few seconds off of him just being able to grab me, but instead I don't know what he was thinking. He could have literally grabbed me, but instead he went for the door, and I went for the door, and by that time it was too late for him. Sorry. And I ran for the front door because I just had to get out of the house. I want somebody to hear me if he's planning on killing me. So I ran out of the house, and I think I hid from him. It was so embarrassing. I had to go in front of like people's lawns, hide behind their cars, and there was a few people with their living room window open. I remember this so vividly, and they kind of just looked at me like, what is she doing? But I looked so scared, and I know I looked so scared, and I was just like, please, nobody, like, please, like, don't tell me to leave your lawn, like, just please, like, don't come out here. Like, I was just trying to, like, I was just hoping that they did not come out and say, hey, what are you doing? Because then that would have ruined my, me hiding. And he came outside, and he started yelling, and I could see him from a view, and I can hear him. But after that, after like a good 2 hours of hiding outside, he finally left. He took his car and left. And I don't remember. I think I went to my mom's house. I don't remember what happened after that. By the way, at this time, he wasn't living with me, okay? He knew the code to the front door, which I'm so stupid. I should have changed it, but I didn't know how. He knew the code to the front door, and either way, he had a key. And there was just multiple ways to get into that home. So he would always show up, like, randomly. When I'd be at work, I'd come home, and he's there, and I'm like, okay. We were already pretty much broken up at this point, but I was still trying to make it work for some reason. But we were broken up, like, officially we were broken up. And that was the moment when I mentally started to give up. And then another situation happened where I was still holding on to something. I was still holding on, hoping that he would, somehow change and it would work out. But I was holding on to like a little string of hope. And then he did something else where he ended up telling somebody that I'm not going to call her a friend, but it was a person who used to be my friend. And he ended up telling her that he was in love with her or something like that. And that's when I was like, you know what? I'm like, this is it. I'm officially done. Like, I can't keep trying, especially with a person who doesn't want to be with me. Clearly, he's in love with somebody else. When you have emotional attachment to somebody else that way, there's just, I can't bring somebody back from that. I'm not gonna force a relationship with me when you're in love with somebody else. That's totally messed up. That's totally selfish. And I'm not one to force somebody to be with me, you know? It is what it is. If you want to be with me, you want to be with me. And if you don't, you don't. But I still thought that he was just, you know, being difficult. Till this day, I don't know if he did mean that, if he really did love her or not. I really don't know. And I don't care. That's his emotions, that's his feelings. He needs to deal with it, figure it out. I have other things to worry about. So after that, I moved into my mom's house and I rented out my home because I just didn't feel safe living there anymore. After like so many situations have happened, I did not feel safe living there. And I moved in with my mom. I had quit my job previously to this, like months before we even broke up, and I decided that I was going to go to school full time. So I was doing that, and I wasn't able to pay my bills, so I had to move out of my house and rent it out to somebody. And then from there, just little by little, things started working out. Things started to align for me. Even though I was going through the most horrible time of my life, I was able to find somebody who I love and adore, and he's just the most amazing person I have ever met. I've known him for a few years, but never really saw it like that. Now I'm pregnant with his baby, and life couldn't be better, honestly. I just wanted to say, not only did that relationship affect my life, where to the point where I just didn't have any friends anymore, wasn't allowed to hang out with anybody else, guy or girl, to it mentally messing me up as well. This is why I want to speak on it, because it's a huge deal, and I'm still going through the emotions of fixing myself and building myself back up. But you can tell that it emotionally messed me up, mentally as well. If you look back at the video that I had posted before this one, I think it's called like My Life or A Day in My Life or something, you can see I was going through that breakup at that moment. I wasn't talking to this guy anymore, but you can definitely see how it affected me mentally. I just didn't have any, I was so insecure, and it was gross. I mean, I'm still insecure now, but not half as bad as how I was then. And that video wasn't even half as bad as I was in the relationship, so you guys can only imagine. And I really hope that if you are going through something like that, you do get help. Whether it is talking to somebody about it, you gotta open up, because I didn't open up, and I did it to protect the other person that I was with, and I kept my mouth shut about a lot of things that he did. Not even just to me, like there was other things that he did, and I kept my mouth shut because I didn't want anybody to see him as a bad person, because I knew the person inside. I knew that he didn't really want to be that way, you know. And whether he did or he didn't, he needs to take action for his own, you know, problems. Everybody does. So don't feel bad. Don't feel bad at all. You need to start thinking differently, mentally and physically. You need to just move on if you're going through something like this. Just don't let a person bring you down so much, because you're worth so much more, and you're missing out on what life really has to offer you in general. But there goes that story. If you guys want more detail, I can give you guys more detail, but if this can help somebody, even if it's one person, then I did my job. I just want to say my story and let you guys know that there is hope out there, and at the end of the day, you need to get yourself out of that situation. Like I said, nobody else can do that for you, and you have to admit that there's something better out there, and you have to realize that you shouldn't be treated that way. If you're unhappy, don't hide your feelings, don't hide your emotions. It is what it is. Your feelings don't lie. So there's that story. I'm gonna finish my food. To anybody that's watching this, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.